matter if you love him or capital H-I-M. Just put your paws up, because you were born this way, baby.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new school year here at Montclair High School. We're your school counseling staff. My name is Nathan Fainel.
And I'm Danielle Gold.
We want to talk to you today about an important issue, LGBT students. We want to look at the issues they're facing and how we can support them. Danielle is going to start and talk about what LGBT means and the issues that those students face.
First, let's start with what LGBT stands for and who is considered LGBT. LGBT stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. Sometimes the letters Q, I, and A are also used in the acronym, which stand for queer or questioning, intersex, and asexual or ally. Other identities that fall under the LGBT umbrella are pansexual, genderqueer, agender, and many others. It is important to know that the LGBT umbrella is constantly evolving with new sexual and gender identities. Now, I would like to talk about some of the issues that surround our LGBT students. For example, 64% of our LGBT students say that they feel unsafe at school, and 29% miss numerous days of school because they feel unsafe. And here is an example from the TV show Glee.
It's the fear that's the worst. I never know when it's coming. I can't concentrate. I don't feel like I'm part of the school at all. I feel like I'm in a horror movie where this creature follows me around terrifying me and there's nothing that I can do about it. I mean, you don't know what's going on in this kid's head. You don't know what he's capable of.
Research has also found that 84% of LGBT students report to being bullied or threatened because of their sexual and gender orientation. And transgender students are 1/3 more likely to be physically harassed than homosexual students. This bullying can hinder LGBT students from receiving a proper education because they miss school or cannot concentrate because they are always in fear. Research has also found that 83% of LGBT students say that faculty rarely intervene with the bullying of LGBT students, and that 25% of homophobic slurs that LGBT students hear in schools come from school faculty or administrators. Also, LGBT students are 33% more likely to attempt suicide than heterosexual students, who are 8% likely to attempt suicide. Finally, 25 to 40% of homeless students identify as LGBT, most likely because their parents threw them out of the house. With that being said, it is important to know the laws of our country that affect the LGBT students. First, states such as Utah, Arizona, Louisiana, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, and South Carolina restrict school faculty from discussing LGBT issues. On the contrary, Washington, D.C. and 20 states such as New Jersey have anti-bullying laws against students being bullied based on their sexual or gender orientation. Also, the U.S. Constitution requires public schools to handle any form of harassment of LGBT students the same way it would handle the harassment of any other student. Another law that protects the LGBT students is called the Federal Law Title IX. This law states that public schools cannot ignore harassment based on gender stereotyping. An example of this is the harassment of a boy because he wears a dress and makeup. Most recently, in February 2017, President Trump took away transgender rights to use the bathroom that matches their gender identities. This means that transgender students can no longer have a choice to which bathroom they use. Now that we know that we are legally and ethically required to protect our LGBT students from harassment, it's time to hear about what we can do to make our schools safe for our LGBT students.
So what can you do to support LGBT students? First off, you should be a visible ally to the LGBT community. How do you do that? Well, you can do that by being a role model by your own behavior in the classroom. Educate yourself on the proper terminology and language when referring to LGBT people, and keep up with issues affecting that community. Second, you can be a visible ally in your school, and you can do that by creating your classroom as a safe space. What is a safe space? You can display safe space stickers such as this and materials in your classroom. It shows the LGBT students that you are an open and accepting resource for them. You can post them on your door, your bulletin board, anywhere you feel that they would see them. If you want more materials, you can come to the counseling office where we have a ton available. A fantastic resource is the Safe Space Kit from GLSEN, or the Gay, Lesbian, Straight Education Network. You can download it from their website and shows how you can be a visible ally. Also, you can let other educators know that you're an ally so they can also be a resource. Thirdly, it's important to address homophobic language and behavior when you see students using it. Many students use the terms such as gay or queer in a negative way that's not necessarily meant to be a homophobic slur. This is very pervasive and needs to be addressed because LGBT students hearing this over and over throughout their school experience, it's very distressing and harmful to them. If you hear a student using language in such a manner, it's important to address it immediately, say that it's not okay and it has no place in the classroom. Fourth, if you see homophobic name-calling, bullying, or harassment, address it immediately. Stop it in the moment and make sure you are clear and decisive that it's unacceptable. Try to create a teachable moment by calling out the students, either publicly or privately, depending on the situation. Try to educate the students on why their behavior is wrong and what can happen if they do it again. You should also support the bullied student. Do not make assumptions about the student's sexual orientation or what they're experiencing. Just let your student know that you're there to help. Suggest that they can see a counselor if they need extra support also. And finally, hold the students accountable. If the bullying continues, disciplinary consequences for the bully have to be enforced so that you know and they know that you mean what you say. Fifth, you can support student clubs such as the Gay Straight Alliance. The National School Climate Survey has found that compared to schools without GSAs or Gay Straight Alliances, schools that had them reported having fewer homophobic remarks, experienced less harassment and assault because of their sexual orientation and gender expression, were more likely to report incidents of harassment and assault, were less likely to feel unsafe because of their sexual orientation, were less likely to miss school because of it, and reported a greater sense of belonging to their community. Finally, what do you do if a student comes out to you? First, you don't want to assume the student needs help or is distressed. They may be simply sharing personal information because they know you're an ally. You can address that it took courage to come out to you and thank them for sharing that information. It's often risky for students to disclose their information or their orientation, and you may be one of the first people that they actually tell. It shows the students respect and trust you. Be a good listener and allow them to talk about what is going on in their lives. But you also need to respect their confidentiality. Let them know that you're not going to tell anyone else and that you respect their privacy. Sometimes teachers with good intentions can divulge this information to other staff or to parents. If the student comes from a home that is hostile or unaccepting, this could cause serious problems for the student. They could face abuse, be thrown out, or experience other trauma. It is not your place to out them to anyone else. Finally, try to avoid saying things like, "Are you sure?" or "Maybe it's a phase," or advise them not to tell anyone. We should be positive and affirming, not questioning and negative. If you need additional support, again, please direct them to the counseling office. We are always here to support our LGBT students. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and we hope you become a better ally to the LGBT community.
No matter gay, straight or bi, lesbian, transgender life, I'm on the rise.